Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Great Culture webinar, How One CEO Builds a Healthier Workplace and More Connected Workplace. I am Sarah Troup, Director of Engagement Strategy at Motion Connected, and I'm really excited to be your host today. Here's a quick look at where we'll be headed and the agenda we'll be covering. This webinar will be recorded and shared with you afterwards. And as we go through each section, feel free to drop ideas or questions you have in the chat. We really love hearing from you. So I am just really thrilled to have our guest today. I feel like we always hear just how important leadership support is to the success of almost any initiative offered by an employer. But I feel like we don't really see very often what that looks like and exactly how to do it. So today, we will be looking at practical experiences and best practices with Steve Simonin, who's CEO at Iowa Specialty Hospitals and Clinics. Steve is a nationally recognized healthcare leader who has led his organization through nearly 3 decades of cultural and operational transformation. Under his leadership, Iowa Specialty has grown significantly, earning top honors for patient satisfaction and workforce engagement year after year. We also have Brooke Nerlien, wellness coordinator, a registered nurse, wellness coach, and diabetes educator with 16 years of experience. Brooke leads the wellness efforts at Iowa Specialty and brings a very practical, human-centered perspective on building programs that work. So welcome, Steve and Brooke.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. We're so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
We are very excited to have you on. I thought today we would start with why culture matters at Iowa Specialty Hospital. Would either of you like to weigh in on that?
I think culture for the past 25 plus years has been kind of a business strategy. I always do orientation with our new employees, and I always talk about my story. And I started off as a very financially focused hospital administrator, worked in for-profit healthcare, and until I had a family tragedy, my mom got sick, and things. Did I really realize what healthcare was about? It wasn't about stats and financials. It was truly about the people and treating everybody in a different way with love and compassion. So basically, I kind of assumed kind of the mind of, and Brooke, you'd understand this, the nurses and clinicians and why people get into healthcare in the first place. Sometimes us CEOs are so focused on the bottom line that we lose sight of what's truly important. And it's a good business strategy as well to have happy, healthy, engaged employees.
Yeah, I feel like our culture is super people focused and people centered. And when our employees know that we truly, truly care about them as an employee, and we truly, truly care about their overall well-being, and they're coming to work, they're feeling good, they're doing their best work, when they know that administration cares and their organization cares, they are more engaged. We do have a more positive culture because they feel cared about, and you're going to get better retention, lower turnover, all of the positives that come with having that engaged culture.
That is a really refreshing perspective to hear. I mean, Steve, you said a lot of times it's just easy to worry about the bottom line, but the culture is part of the bottom line. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. One of the guys that we used to that we still follow, his name's Quinn Studer, and he says that once you stop worrying about the numbers so much and you start focusing on quality and service, everything kind of falls into place, and people come to you. A little bit you gave a little bit of bio at the start, but just a little bit about who we are. I mean, we're two critical access hospitals in tiny little towns of 28 and 2,900. And we've grown 20 times from when I started 30 years ago. And, our patients are coming from all over Iowa to have orthopedic, to have babies here, to have bariatric surgery, to have a lot of the situations. So yeah, it does matter when you truly are saying hi to people in the hallways and you're genuinely nice. Patients all over realize that. You always want to go to the restaurant with the best service. You always want to, you seek that out, especially in today's culture.
Absolutely. That is incredible growth numbers. I think that in of itself is a fantastic statistic that proves that culture really matters. I'd love to dive in. A lot of people would agree that I think we do agree that culture matters, but let's talk about what a thriving culture actually looks like. I would love you, in the past, you both have shared a lot of examples with me, and I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, if you'll see the pictures up there that you have on your slide, and we do lots of things within our four walls of, people focused team building things, but we also do a lot of stuff. Our culture and our engagement, it goes beyond our four walls. We do things in the community. We walk in parades. We serve 7 or 8 different communities across the state of Iowa, and all of our little small town pride days, hometown pride days, we're showing up and we're walking and we're engaging with our communities. We participate in blood drives, our local 5K events. We're doing a lot of things in our communities too. And that's a testament to people are engaged beyond just their workday with our organization. They want to be a part of our organization. They want to be part of their work family outside of these walls. And I think it's so cool to have that engagement when they leave and clock out.
Brooke started up a running club, 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing runs all over the place. And I see a picture down there of me in my RagBrite with the RagBrite team. We've got 40 to 45 people who jump in. And so do people understand what RagBrite is, Sarah?
No, I was just going to say, for maybe people outside of Iowa or outside of the Midwest, could you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, I will. So you'll see my bike over my corner. It's all about biking. So RagBrite stands for Register's Annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa. It's about 400 to 500 miles, the 3rd or 4th week of July, and it's anywhere from 20 to 60,000 people.
Wow.
Riding their bikes over 7 days across Iowa. It's kind of this big, just rolling group of people having fun, but it's a lot of work and you have to prepare for it. And Brooke, you've done a couple days on RagBrite, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work as well. So we this year was a northern route in Iowa, so we have a lot of employees up here. We stayed with employees' families. We camp out in their backyard, but it's a way to engage a lot of the providers. It's a way to engage the staff, their friends, their family. It's grown, and we're one of the bigger teams now for RagBrite, and it's just a lot of fun. We've been doing it for about the past 10 years.
10 years. And about what size is your team? Like I think we're all wondering how many people would really take that on.
Specifically, employees anywhere from 20 to 35. They don't have to do the entire week. Some just jump in for a day or two. I've been riding with my pathologist and orthopedic surgeons and frontline nurses and therapists, and so people dabble in it, and it's not. We're just trying to engage people. We've got on the running club thing that we were talking about. Our goal isn't to get people out there and do 6-minute miles. Our goal is to just get them out and move. And, we had a lot of walkers last year. We'll have walkers this year. We're sponsoring, 5Ks and things in our community. It's just to get people on the bike or to get them out walking, to get them, excited about some sort of wellness.
What I love what I'm seeing here is it's not all physical activity, or even when it is, you have volleyball, you have running, you have biking, but I see garden initiatives here as well. It looks like you're really offering a wide variety of things for people to participate in.
Yeah, that's our community garden, and that's right on our hospital property. And we open it up to people in the community that might not have space for a garden, and it's open to our employees too, of course. And they they come and they tend to their little garden and can give themselves some healthy, fresh produce if they, that otherwise couldn't. And, it's something that the hospital promotes and sponsors, and, it's awesome. Our community loves it.
And it's free of charge. If you want a plot, you get a plot, and we'll provide the water. There's water on the ground. So, we're trying to we till the thing before, we clean it up after. We just try and encourage people to get out there. And every year the garden is full. We have, and it's right next to our new dog park. So we jumped in. We had a bunch of extra land, a couple acres out there, and so the chamber wanted to do a dog park in Clarion somewhere. So we said, do it on our land. That's awesome. We've got water out here. They put up a fence, and so we've got the dog park out there as well.
So there's a lot of employees that love that the dog park is out there. Well, it really sounds like you're setting up the environment to make it easy to participate and be part of it. That's half the battle alone, is thinking through those details.
One thing, Sarah, you were talking about from a culture standpoint. One of the things I talk about in orientation is that we want the hospital to be someplace where people are going to come and have fun and meet their best friend and laugh and be proud of the work that they do. And we always talk about your priorities in your life, and your priorities are your family, your kids, your parents, your church, your community, your friends. And work should complement that. It shouldn't be your first priority. If it is your first priority, we're doing something wrong. We want you guys to have balance. We want you guys to have flexibility, and come to work because you want to come to work. Not, I once said to my CFO that if someone's just coming for the paycheck, we're doing something wrong. It's not about the paycheck. It's about so much more.
That was a great mindset, Steve. And it seems like you really do put that into action. You mentioned the new hire meetings. We'd love to hear a little bit more about those and the other ways that you're personally showing your leadership in your engagement programs.
The very first hour of new employee orientation, the employees get to meet the CEO of the company. I don't know if that's terrifying or cool or both, but he truly cares about the employees. And he wants to meet them and set those standards. And he does. He talks about his journey as the CEO, his own health journey, really bringing purpose into the work and encouraging, finding your purpose, finding your why. He's just so passionate about what he does and what our staff does. And he's a great cheerleader. I just think I don't know how other businesses where this company of 800 people, you're meeting your CEO.
No.
Because he wants to be there, not because he has to be there, because he wants to be there. Like he demands that he's there. So he manages up this culture of wellness, this culture of belonging. He manages that up. And I then roll in like the next day and I come back in and say, hey, remember when you guys met Steve and he talked about all these great things that we do? And then I, speak on behalf of Motion Connected and that platform and, just other wellness, that culture of wellness things that we do. So I'll go in and meet with the employees.
Brooke, I'd be curious, what kind of feedback do you get when you meet with the employees the next day on that meeting? Like, what do the employees think about it?
Yeah, they think it's super cool. They walk away just feeling that they matter, like feeling that they belong and that they're important and that they're valued and that we want them there, which we do. Yeah, they really feel that sense of belonging and that they matter and they're not just another employee. They're not just a paycheck, but hey, we want you. You're here. I feel like we kind of set the bar high for being an employee with us. We have our standardized document called our standards of behavior that outline the expectations that we have for our employees as an employee, as a member of our communities. And that document has been around for decades. And we actually show that to the employees at their first interview. Like that document and expectations and standards are so important to us that like before they even get the job, we give them that and say, hey, this is what we expect of you. And and so they have that expectation up front. And then that's really what Steve spends his hour on, is talking about those. And but yeah, they love it. They love meeting him. Our 5-10 rule, that is part of our standards of behavior. And what that means is that it's communication at 5 feet. If I'm within 5 feet of an employee, a patient, a guest, I'm going to verbally acknowledge them with a, hey, good morning, how are you? Good afternoon. If I'm within 10 feet of that person, maybe only, they're down the hallway, I see them, they're 10 feet away, I'm going to say hi, give them a thumbs up, give them a nod, smile. And that's where, we get that. People saying how friendly our culture is, and this is an expectation, it's a standard of behavior. So 5 feet, it's a verbal acknowledgement. At 10 feet, it's that nonverbal acknowledgement. It just helps people reduce that anxiety. It helps promote just that positive culture that we want. People love coming to us because of our service. It's simple things like saying hi. You'd be surprised at how much feedback we get over just simply saying hi to people and smiling. Other things we do, within our leadership group, we do annual themes. So each year we roll out a different quote or a theme that we're going to use for the year. And that's a lot of what of our leadership development content is about. Our decorations around the hospital, our different employee engagement parties and events will be around that. Like one year it was the Olympics, and so it's kind of like an Olympic theme all year. This past year, yeah, it was that belonging theme from Brene Brown's book. We've done that, but it helps guide a lot of the things that we do, and it helps build that culture where we're focusing on that particular theme, that quote, that theory all year long. It starts in leadership, but then we roll it out to at the staff level.
Yeah, what are some of the ways you see staff really getting into your annual themes?
Well, so like last year, our quote was a rising tide lifts all ships or all boats. And so with that, we did fun things like Shark Tank. And so like the theory behind that was, any bright ideas, new ideas, we kind of had set it up like Shark Tank, like here, pitch your idea, your bright idea, your new idea. And so, at our parties, it's kind of like tropical ocean beach theme type things, Margaritaville, and, we just do stuff like that. Speaking of that, I wonder if I have one of my pins with me. We did within the wellness committee, within our wellness program, if you participated and you earned a certain amount of points, you got a fun little pin. It had a lifesaver on it with the, if you take care of your wellness, you are essentially putting on your own life vest or your own lifesaver. Your wellness is your personal flotation device. So if they got a certain incentive, that was an incentive to earn that pin to proudly wear on your badge and show off. So just little fun things like that.
Oh, wonderful. And what is rounding?
Rounding is all of our leadership team, they round with one employee a month. Our senior leadership rounds with 2 or 3 employees a month, and you're rounding to build connections with the employees. We have 800 employees. Again, we're across 7 or 8 different campuses. So sometimes, we're getting large, we're growing, and so we still want that culture of community and connection. And so we round each month on an employee outside of our department, and we have a standard list of questions that we ask. Hey, how are things going? What's going well? What's the best part of your job? We'll relate it to our annual theme. So like this past year with that feeling of belonging, tell me how you feel like you belong within your department or within the organization. We really are stressing, asking about, do they understand their benefits? And more importantly, do they know what their PTO means, how to use it, when to use it, encouraging them to use it. We don't want we want to prevent burnout. It's not a contest to see who could have the most PTO built up. That's not what we want. We want our employees to use their PTO. So encouraging that, we'll manage up our wellness program. and then, ask, hey, are you participating in the wellness program? Do you understand it? Do you know that this is incentive? This is a benefit to you. So managing that up. And then another thing that I've been promoting from my position is encouraging walking meetings. So encouraging our leaders, if they have a quick small meeting with just one or two people, studies show that a walking meeting can be more productive than a face-to-face, I'm sitting across the desk from you type of meeting. Creativity increases, honesty increases, stress decreases. And so promoting walking meetings, now we live in Iowa, so here in another couple months, those are off the table, at least outside. Maybe we could walk the halls if it's not one of those private conversations, but encouraging walking meetings when applicable.
So rounding sounds like it's a really great time to have that post-hiring check-in with an employee on how things are going, how you're taking care of them as an organization, and if they understand everything that's available to them, that you offer for them.
Our HR team does a 30-day follow-up. There's a 90-day follow-up with the leader. These other monthly roundings, they're interdepartment roundings. They are at complete random. The employee might have worked there for 15 years, or maybe they've worked there for 2 years. But we are checking in on them. It's not like, oh, you've passed 90 days, we're done talking to you. We continue to check in, and as different stages in your career, you might have different questions. Maybe I'm nearing retirement and I do have questions about my benefits that I wouldn't have had 10 years ago. So it's just continuous check-ins.
So one of the things on rounding that we originally started was we had specific questions, and it was a lot of our rounding was a lot on do you have all the tools and equipment on your job? But we changed it about 3 or 4 years ago just on relationships, because I want to be able to see someone in the food line at the cafeteria and say, how are the kids? How are they doing in softball? I know about this, or how's your mom doing? It's all about relationships around the hospital. And, and that's tied so closely to how we do everything from wellness to our potlucks. We had a big potluck last Friday. It was the Iowa State game. And we have the rounding done by our leaders. So this is an important thing. So our expectation is that all the leaders do at least one rounding session on a monthly basis for 20 minutes, and all senior leaders do 2. So we get all 800 employees get rounded on a yearly basis. And so we feel that that's important. One roundings by an outside leader doesn't sound like a lot, but at least they're getting that touch point. For everybody from doctors to frontline staff, and then their own leaders should be meeting with them on a routine basis. But when we talk about things like parties, when we talk about things like rounding, our expectation and requirement is that the leaders do this. And that they follow through. It's not a choice. You have to do these engagement things, because if you don't do it, then it's not safe for your employees to go to a potluck, to go to a party or whatever. And I'm kind of a broken record on this, but it does. I mean, Sarah, it ties so much to engagement. If the top boss says it's safe, then people are going to probably say, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like the rounding is a cornerstone to creating this culture of belonging that then transitions into the fun things and really encourages people to participate. That's what engagement is being part of your community and your corporation.
Truly is.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of belonging to the hospital, you do have a significant emphasis on the community as well, and taking it outside of the hospital. Would love to understand this a little bit more.
Yeah, we've kind of touched on this a little bit already with our parades in our local towns that we serve. So we're always present. We're always out engaging with our community members. Our employees love this. They love walking in the parades. They love bringing out their kiddos, pushing them in the stroller. We're so proud to be part of our organization. So we have a great turnout, great engagement for this. Of course, we have a little wellness incentive for it too, like walk in the parade. Hey, this is going to help out your wellness scorecard type of thing. Steve's talked about the RAGBRAI, the 5Ks, our back of the pack.
I think it's interesting also. I'm down in Des Moines right now, but urban versus rural healthcare.
Oh.
You know, if we're not on the chamber, if we're not on the school board, if we're not, one of the best pieces of advice that was given to me when I started in 1996 was my boss said, you know, don't drive a real fancy car, live in the community, go to church here, buy your groceries here, you know, show that you're pulling in the same direction, because living in a small town, running a small organization is hard, you know, and it's a completely different perspective than healthcare in the urban. You know, we have to do the things like dog parks and community gardens and chamber stuff, because we are the largest employer, and it's different. Rural healthcare is different, and that's why wellness and you know all of our stuff is important, because you know it's just different.
Pulling in the same direction, though. I like that. That's a great concept for any organization.
Steve, you have to talk about how cool is it that the CEO has a party in his backyard?
I know. I was thinking about that too. Let's go back to the
You know,
backyard party.
So when I bought my house 23 years ago, right across the street from where Brooke lives, actually, everybody in the neighborhood works for the hospital. The house was built by a couple of the cornerstone docs who started the hospital, Dr. Young and his wife Betty, in 1951. And they said, you know, Steve, when you buy the house, you're going to have a lot of parties, because we built it for the hospital. I'm like, ugh. So it's got a big backyard, and so we started having backyard parties 23 years ago, and you know, we do that in August, and then we also have this thing called the meltdown party. It's at the end of March, just to celebrate the end of winter. And so all the employees come out and just celebrate, because Iowa winters are tough. We come out and we celebrate the end of winter, and we have goofy contests and dance parties and fun stuff like that, right, bro?
Karaoke, it's fun.
Yeah.
There might be a few of us that might steal that meltdown party concept. That is awesome. Well, let's dive into, we know wellness is a very specific part of your culture. It is the business that you do, but obviously taking care of your people. I would love to hear about some of the wellness strategies you've put into place, Brooke.
Sure. Yeah. So we use Motion Connected as far as tracking goes, and it's an incentive-based program. So if you take our health insurance, you know, you can be eligible for premium discounts. Or if you don't take our health insurance, we still care about you. We still want you to be doing all the things and getting your physical and walking in grades and, you know, going to the dentist, all of those things. We still care about you, whether you're on our health insurance or not. And so we say, hey, you can still participate. Hey, you can get a cash prize at the end of the year, and it comes at the end of the year. It's some extra holiday money. So Motion Connected is our platform for that. But beyond the platform, we do lots of other things. One of our most recent things is just this past, maybe in May, we started this award. We have one thing about Iowa Specialty, when you talk about culture and being proud where you work from, we have lots of different awards and celebrations. We love to celebrate our employees, and a lot of these awards are truly peer nominations. It's peers nominating peers. They're recognizing them for doing good things, and one of the most recent things is the Wellness Warrior Award, and it's just when you notice somebody within the organization practicing a healthy behavior. Maybe it's getting in their steps on their lunch break, filling up their water, encouraging you to fill up your water, making that healthy choice at the cafeteria line, being a mental health advocate, just different things like that. And so,
Hey, Brooke, one of the stories that I love about that is with regards to the steps, are those employees who have desk jobs, but they have the little treadmill underneath their desk, so they're getting their steps in by walking at their standing desk. I love that story.
Yeah, actually today we just had our monthly wellness meeting, and our Wellness Warrior submission was a gal that has a desk walking pad. She brings her own socks and tennis shoes. She puts those on, and she walks 2.5 to 3 miles throughout her day at a pace that she's still able to do her work and multitask in a safe pace. But yeah, she was she was our submission, our winner for this month. So
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then outside of those, we do offer some subsidized gym memberships or gym membership discounts. So yeah, Steve mentioned we live in rural Iowa, so our memberships are probably a little bit more affordable than some of the bigger cities, but we do offer up to, a certain amount towards gym memberships, no matter what community you live in, and it's based on usage. If you use it so many times a month, you get the appropriate discount for that. So just to
The
encourage.
other thing is, Brooke, with regards to that, if they don't live in Clarion or Belmont, where our two gyms are, and they live in Webster City or Eagle or whatever, but they have a gym membership down there or a Peloton or something, we want to see usage, but we'll go ahead and pay for that. It makes sense to encourage people to actively work out. The other thing is, and we found this is a good tip. So we have let's say our wellness center here in Clarion. We don't pay 100% towards your membership if you don't go. So 8 times or more a month, we'll pay 100%. If it's 4 to 7, we'll pay 50%. If it's below 4, if you're not going to the gym, you're paying for it. So it incentivizes the people to go up there and to work out.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I see you have health coaching on here. Is that something you do through your organization? Are
Yeah,
the Iowa Specialty coaches?
it's actually me. It's just me. One of the, I don't want to say free, but free, yes. Benefits of being an Iowa Specialty employee. I am a certified health coach. So I do one-on-one meetings with any employees that want that. I don't charge for my time. It's just, truly one of those benefits saying, hey, we care about you. We're giving this to you. Take advantage of it. So I do that. And then today happens to be our Wellness Wednesday. What a great day to pick for this webinar. But Wellness Wednesday, so we just do some education topics. A newsletter comes out. Our cafeteria, we revamp our cafeteria menu just to, it's usually like, hey, let's try something new. So today's we're trying out a new grain, farro. I don't know if
Yep.
I'm saying it right.
Mhm.
Farro. We've never used that in our cafeteria before, so it gives people an opportunity to try something maybe healthier, something new that they probably wouldn't try on their own. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, oh well, you tried something new. We're trying to promote some healthy habits, some new healthy things. So we have that going on today. So I'm excited to get off the call and give that a try.
Happy Wellness Wednesday. How fun.
Yes, thank you.
Biometric screenings. I do get a lot of questions if people are still doing these, finding value. Steve, I see you. I'd love to hear what you're thinking.
No, I just got my bloods last week, so I meet with Brooke next week.
Okay.
Yeah, yep, we're still doing them. We actually require the screening if the person wants to get that top level gold incentive. We require that you have that done in a physical because it's so important that you're doing screenings and you're doing prevention items. So we do require it if you qualify and want to meet gold. But yeah, we do them. We don't charge for them. Again, it's like one of those benefits that we tell our employees, like, this is free for you guys. You should be doing it. We care about you. It's a great.
Yeah, we say a lot of times, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is ignorance. If you're at the edge of pre-diabetes or have other factors that Brooke can help you out to and get you on a better path. Ignorance is ignorance. It's not a good thing. We want, as much as you don't like to step on the scales, as much as you don't want to check out your blood triglycerides and all, you need to know that if you want to get on that right path.
Yeah, knowledge is power, that's for sure.
It truly, truly is.
You have clearly built this great, well-rounded program, and it supports employees in so many ways. I know you've also put a lot of thought and effort into, people that might not be marathon runners and making your program very inclusive of that. One example is your Back of the Pack Club. Tell us about that.
Yeah, our Back of the Pack Club it is what you said. It's trying to be inclusive and it's meeting people where they're at. It's scary to try something new for the first time. And I wanted to build this club to encourage people to try something new. There's no judgment. There's no shame. We're all here to support each other. And so we're on our second year of doing this. We do a 12-week training plan where we build up. It's a 5K training plan, kind of like a couch to 5K. We start off easy. Walking is okay. There's no judgment. If you want to walk the 5K, if you want to run it, great. But it's really just to encourage this, finding a new way to move your body and in a supportive, engaging. So our back of the pack, we have a little mascot. It's a turtle, the back of the pack. So we've got this cute little turtle mascot. We've got neon green t-shirts this year. And, really the idea is, hey, it's about the finish line, not the finish time. And I love that. It just kind of takes that stress and the pressure off of, I have to be a marathon runner, or I have to. No, we just want you to move your body and feel good about doing it and feel supported and trying something new. So
Brooke, I think I told you this story. I turned 60 this last year, but when I turned 59, I had a birthday party and stuff. And one of my friends, John, said, "What are you going to do for your 59th year?" And I said, "I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into running." I used to run all the time, and I hadn't run for 15 years. And I was kind of kidding because I didn't think John would. He said, "Oh, I'll run with you." And John was overweight and hadn't ever run in his life before, and he was 57 or whatever. And so I started getting people down here to jump in, and John's in the picture up there on the end, and that was his first race ever. And so now John's running every Sunday, and he's going slow, but he's it's an important thing. And I'm like, ugh, I didn't think anybody would take me seriously, so now I have to do it. So the thing is, if the CEO is out there talking about the stuff, he has to follow through and actually do it. And it's not it's not easy at 60. It's definitely not easy.
yeah, but Steve is being modest. He placed in his age group last year.
There was only 3 of us, and I think I got third.
Oh, come on, Steve.
Hey, you leave that part out.
So shy. Well, lots of support here for physical well-being. What about some of the things you have in place around mental and emotional well-being?
I'm glad we're talking about this. So during COVID, Brooke, you were with us. We had one of my friends is a coach for a TM, and she's out of New York, but she's doing the stuff down in Fairfield, Iowa, transcendental meditation. It sounds kind of floofy and stuff like that, but basically it's just meditation. It's getting back to calming yourself down. So I don't know, Brooke, if you're still doing it, but from 2000, I think it was October 2001. I've been meditating every day, every morning. No, it was October 2000, I think. Every morning for 20 minutes, every single day. And that's important from a heartbeat perspective. That's important for just getting down to the core. And so we talk about meditation, we talk about heart rate, we talk about how do we just slow down and see things differently. And studies, national studies, Cleveland Clinic, and everybody's talking about how important it is. There was just something on CNN last week with Sanjay Gupta, I think, and talking about TM and talking about meditation and the use of prescription drugs versus how can you reduce your pain through focus and things. So I mean it's up and coming, and it's a wonderful thing to teach our patients as well as our staff. So I'm sorry, Brooke.
No, that's great. We're just trying to kind of round out our initiatives and our scorecard to, yes, physical activity is super important. That's not going away. But like Steve said, we need to start looking at these other things, our emotional well-being, our social well-being, our occupational well-being, beyond just activity. And going back to the rounding, I had mentioned, we ask, are you using your PTO? And that goes right back to the burnout that the world and healthcare is experiencing in the workplace. And so trying to be aware and support our employees with their emotional well-being is always on our minds.
On your minds, that's a priority.
Mm-hmm.
We had a really cool session last week in leadership. We do leadership training 2 days off site every quarter, and have been for about 25 years. And our people that came last week, it's called People Centric, and they were talking about how the boomers communicate with the millennials and all the things that kind of get in the way, and how the world can be different if we just open up and know how to communicate to the different generations, to the different genders, and truly it goes back to mental health, making it okay, and having kind of that coaching open environment.
Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful tip. What is the Make It Okay program? Brooke, you started to talk about it. I'm curious on that.
Yeah, so our organization is a Make It Okay registered workplace. And Make It Okay is a national campaign, and the goal of the program, of the message, is just to reduce stigma surrounding mental illnesses, and by increasing the understanding of mental illnesses and teaching how to create caring conversation around mental illnesses, things to say, things not to say, how to show up, how to provide support. So this is a nationwide campaign. So wherever you are in the United States, you can go to makeitokay.org. Here I'm doing a little plug for them, and you can learn more about it. You can train ambassadors for your organizations. There's no requirement as far as you don't need to be a mental health professional. You don't need to be a registered nurse. You don't need to be a CEO. Anybody can take this training, because we want to get the message out that it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. And so I'm an ambassador for that. I teach that to our organization. When we first rolled it out, we became a registered workplace in 2021. And the very first people that were trained and heard this message was our leadership team. Had support from leadership, from Steve. They heard the message first, and then we continue to roll it out to our new employees. Orientation is huge for us. We actually have part 1 orientation, part 2 orientation, like 6 weeks down the road. Once they've kind of got their feet wet, let's bring them back and teach them some more things. And we actually do. We spend an hour on this Make It Okay campaign. It is so important to us. We want our employees to know, hey, we care about you. We care about your mental well-being, and we want you to care for others too. And so here's some messages about that.
That's a great example of taking initiative and starting right at the top with it. I mean, that's a good takeaway for anyone. Like, if you're going to bring something in, start and roll it out to your leadership team first.
Yep, get the buy-in, and then they can manage that up. They can support that. They can speak to that, and really be an advocate and role model that. So yeah, absolutely, Sarah.
It's fun. Well, I think everyone would love to hear a little bit about what you've put this time and effort into it. You clearly have leadership support that is just fantastic. What are some of the results that you're seeing from the initiatives the two of you have put together?
Well, we do the feedback survey every year, and like the slide says, within Motion Connected, we had a 96% satisfaction rate. So 96% of the users said that they were pleased, they found benefit, it was beneficial to their overall well-being, and that is fantastic. That is a fantastic number, and a number
fantastic number.
Yeah. We were just talking too before the meeting started. Employee engagement surveys, if anybody does those, I'll let Steve speak to those a little bit more, but we just rolled ours out, and wellness got lots of praises in the engagement survey. And if you guys aren't doing engagement surveys, start doing them. And if you are doing them, are you asking about your wellness, your culture of wellness? That's kind of the new trend, is including those type of questions in your engagement survey. But Steve, do you want to?
No, I'll go back to ignorance is ignorance. Ignorance is not bliss. We need to know these things, whether it's good or bad, and it's specific to the leader, and they're all opportunities. We can't come at someone, because they have a negative survey. It's just an opportunity to do better. And so like Brooke said, it's hot off the presses. We just got our results yesterday, so we're all interested in looking at the comments, and it's just a good thing.
What so you mentioned your wellness warrior stories earlier. Do you have a specific person, Adam, that you were going to share about?
Oh, I think he was one of our first ones, maybe. And I mean, it was just something simple. He he was walking during one of his breaks, and an employee stopped and said, "Hey, you're out for a walk, just making small talk." And he said, he mentioned, yes, he was. And he said the Super Bowl was his rock bottom, it must have been. And since then, he vowed to start moving his body more and eating better. And so he shared just some few things that he'd been doing. He started packing his lunch. He was so excited to share all his tips that he learned. He started taking the steps. He even shared some YouTube podcasts. He was super excited to that he was asked and he was recognized. And then, so it's just little things like that, like these little, you don't have to go run a marathon. You don't have to live in the gym. It's just little things that add up. And I think and I tell people, it's not the big things that matter, it's the little things. And it's doing all the little things and building upon those and sharing those so others have that message of hope, like, oh, Adam started walking on his break, or Adam started doing this. Oh, well, I can do that, and he looks great and he feels great. Or I'll listen to that podcast. Adam found value to that. Well, I might too. And so it's just really highlighting all of the things that our employees are doing. And
hey, Brooke, you have the slide that's up talks about our increase, our trending towards more gold on a yearly basis. And this is not an easy program. This, I'm looking at my numbers every day, and I get to, I'm doing probably 300 active minutes on a weekly basis, but I'm going to have to do my physicals. I'm going to have to do the quizzes. I'm going to have to do everything to hit gold. So to say that 25% of our employees last year hit gold, they're doing the same hard stuff that I'm doing. And that's a lot of work, and I would put up our wellness program to other people, and I'd say it's pretty hard to get gold.
Yeah.
It's tough.
No, that's great. It's great that you're doing all the right things from a leadership perspective to motivate those numbers, those increase in numbers. When something's hard, a lot of times you see if the leaders are not supporting it, employees just give up and walk away from it, where you are creating the exact opposite result.
It helps that we're giving a lot of money away too, and we're helping them out a lot with their payment on their insurance, or the $500 you get on a yearly basis if you're gold or whatever. That's a huge cost for the organization, but we have to look at the results. What happens if we have turnover's expensive? They used to say stats on it was $20,000 to $40,000 on an employee when they turn over, but if we have huge turnover within the organization, there's a huge cost to that. Huge cost to become oriented and getting into the culture. So if you've got that momentum, financially, we spend a lot for wellness, but financially, it makes a lot of sense. There's a huge ROI to it.
Absolutely. And I love that you actually look at that and tie it. Not everybody looks at tying their wellness results back to their retention rates. That's an easy one.
It's an easy one.
Yeah. Those numbers are easy.
And you'll see that the amount of employees that are getting gold increases every year. But I think overall, too, just the amount of people within the program. I mean, yes, we're growing as an organization. So naturally, we do have more employees. So our employee base is growing. But our participation in the wellness program in general is growing. People want to be a part of it. It's like a buzzword around here. People hear about it. They want to know how they get on it. We do the automated challenges, and that gets people talking and motivated. And it's kind of like that FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, I don't want to have FOMO with this wellness program. Well, I want to be a part of that. And I think it's so cool. So yeah, our numbers are going up. Yes, we're getting more employees, but in general, I think the growth in our wellness program exceeds the growth of employment. And then, like I said, more people are striving to get the gold. They really are. They're putting in the work. They're doing what they need to be doing, and they want to be doing it. That's the thing.
Well, we have two last questions for you. One, we always ask all our members, what role has Motion Connected play in your results? Anything specific we've been able to help you with?
It is the foundation of our wellness program and that culture of wellness. So, in the big picture of things, I can say with certainty that it plays into our employee engagement results. It plays into our satisfaction results. Definitely, we're getting lots of compliments. Actually, our nationwide surveyors were just here 2 weeks ago, Steve, and they pulled me in on the survey and said, "Hey, what are you doing? All these people are talking about how great your wellness program is. What are you doing?" And they gave high regards, high praise. And so, like I said, I know Motion Connected is truly like the base, the starting point of our culture of wellness.
And I think the fact that you guys are nationwide, one of the things when we started up our patient surveys in 2002, before that we were doing our own survey, and it's like I had a friend who used to look at herself in the mirror, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not too bad," and she was gaining weight, and she's like, every day she's looking at, and she's like, this is the reverse of anorexia. It's you're looking at yourself and judging against yourself. So you can't do that. You have to judge, and you have to look at Emotion Connected. You have to look at it. We use Press Ganey surveys. You have to have that nationwide perspective, and you guys bring the expertise to it. I'm on my app daily, looking at things, and we're competing against other organizations. I think it's so important to have something that's not necessarily homegrown, but something that other places are doing, so you can say, this is we steal everything here. So we'll share whatever our results are, but we're also going to steal it. So if anybody else has any good ideas, we're coming after them.
No, that's what we do too, right? That's the whole purpose of this webinar, is to bring the great ideas in a single place. Clearly, Steve and Brooke, you guys have created a great culture at Iowa Specialty. And so we would just love to wrap up with what advice do you have for other organizations who are trying to go from good to great?
I would say, and Brooke, follow up with this, but I would say don't worry about challenging people. People like a challenge. I mean, if you make it too easy, then people aren't going to pay attention to it. It's like when we tried to offer just free membership to our gym. Nobody was interested until we said, well, you have to use it or else you have to pay for it. So I think that you have to have some skin in the game, and to make it really great, it's leadership. It's us following through and saying, we want this to work. It makes sense. Do all the leaders participate? No, but we want them to. We want them to talk it up. We want them to manage it up. It's hard on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. I think, with that, I don't know if Sarah's asking, like, from a culture standpoint, how do you get your culture from good to great, or are you asking how do you get your wellness from good to great?
Mostly culture.
Mostly culture. Yeah, I think, we've said it over and over, just focusing on engagement. When you have engaged employees, your culture completely changes. And Steve mentioned it earlier too, like, we're not focusing on the bottom line. You need to focus on your people. We give care, we're in healthcare. And so, like, switching from like patient-centered care to people-centered care, you have to focus on your patients, but you have to focus on the people taking care of the patients, or working on your service lines. Maybe you're making a product, but who is making that product? You have to focus on your people first. I think it's people first, and understanding how people communication, and understanding that and meeting them where they're at.
Wonderful. We do have a couple of questions for you, if I can squeeze them in the last minute or so here. Well, one is, you have hospital settings and clinics. One of our participants asked if you had any ideas on how to promote engagement and culture in a remote setting, which is what a lot of, people deal with.
Yeah, we deal with that too. We have 2 main sites, and then
9 outside
clinics. We have people that work from home.
You too?
And yeah, we have work from home people. So that is, I think, a challenge that every organization sees. It's not just your organization. Steve, I mean,
I think the remoteness, I think the ability though with the app and getting your steps in and things like that. If you're located in Missouri and you're a coder for us, or you're in the Des Moines clinic or the Clear Lake clinic, I think that that virtually ties us all together. So it doesn't have to be on the site. I think it's so important to have the ability to use your Fitbit, use your app, get your miles in or whatever, and feel part of it and get the benefits. It's kind of harder. We're still trying to do this like on a Wellness Wednesday. We're going to deliver the Wellness Wednesday meals to the outside clinic, and it's a long drive, but it also gives us the ability to do a face-to-face with those people in the outside clinics and talk to them and see how they're doing.
Another question we have, are you underwriting the cost for employees to participate in events on their existing time off, or the hospital enables them to have paid time off to participate?
We have PTO. So like, I'll just use RegBright, for example. So it's a week long. So I take PTO. And I have support people that I pay to help everybody, but everybody uses their vacation. Everybody uses their time off. You know, I'm not sure. Brooke, I pay for my own registration for like the 5Ks and stuff, right?
Yeah, we do. We pay for your own. You know, if we required that someone did that, you know, I would think we'd have to pay for it. But it's an optional thing. It's the employee is choosing to. So we are not paying for their 5K registration, for example, but they're getting a free T-shirt. So there's kind of, you know, and they're going to get points on their wellness.
You get points too, yeah.
Yeah,
points is huge.
There's some swag in it, but we're not paying for the registration. But we do free things too. Like we just had, you know, we might have like on October 1st, we're having a healthy estate walk that we're sponsoring. You know, that's no cost, but good question.
And last one real quick, how do you get over the hurdle nurses who work on their feet all day to participate in daily activity?
Nurses are getting their steps in daily, so they don't have to do anything more. They're walking all the time. I'm kind of jealous of the nurses' steps ability.
Yes, I would agree. They are getting their steps. They're meeting the challenge, but I'm a nurse. I know it. You get home and you're tired. But you know, they might work 3/12s, and so, you know, looking at your off days, are you being intentional with your movement on the days you're not at work? I'm a nurse. I'm not going to tell someone who's worked a 12-hour shift to go home and walk. Sorry, I'm not. You did that during the day. Yeah.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
We really appreciate hearing from you, and congratulations on everything you've achieved at Iowa Hospitals.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Good luck,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Yeah.